Listen carefully. Making your muscle grow without steroids. This is what I'm referring to. Without growth hormone. This is what I'm referring to. That's a dying art form. People don't know how to do that anymore.
Welcome to this week's Escape Your Limits podcast. This week, we dive into the incredible journey of the bodybuilding legend whose achievements cemented him as one of the sport's all-time greats. Overcoming significant challenges, including racism and discrimination, he defied the odds to win the Mr. Universe title twice and the Mr. World title 3 times.
I don't believe in overtraining. You can only undersleep and undereat. If you get injured, you got to sleep a lot. That's how you repair your body. Your body won't repair itself. I'll do bench press and then jump down and do push-ups. 30 seconds next, 30 seconds, rest. Bench press again, push-ups to failure. That monkey's on your back real quick. You cannot get better unless you get the monkey on your back.
So join me as we welcome the legend, Mr. John Brown, to this week's Escape Your Limits podcast.
Mr. John Brown, thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
We've been chatting actually before. We were talking about some good stuff. We started talking about the Mr. Universe, and I thought it's probably an interesting way to start because I always thought that Mr. Universe was a big American organization, and in fact it was
NABA
in England.
Yeah, NABA in England. So they own the rights to the Mr. Universe. Then Mr. America was been around for a long time, but the AAU, which is American Amateur Union or Association Union, something like that. They own the rights to the Mr. America. And I guess there was a fallout between them and Weeder. Somehow something happened and they took the name. So you're not allowed to use it anymore. That's when the NPC came about. So it's kind of stupid, in my opinion, no one wants to be Mr. NPC. Like, what is that? I was Mr. America. See, back in the 80s, if you won the Mr. even in the late 70s, if you won a Mr. Los Angeles, that was a big contest because all bodybuilders lived in LA. If you're a bodybuilder or wanted to be, you would move to Los Angeles. And if you won the Mr. LA, that little show, you were first seed to win the Mr. Cal. You win the Mr. California, you're like going to win Mr. America. That's how it worked back then. So the Mr. Los Angeles was a really difficult show to win. But now it's not the same. Now there's shows everywhere. But back then it was different. And then they stopped. They took the name AAU, took the name of Mr. America back. So no one could use it anymore. And I was competing it was AAU is what we had a card for, not NPC. So when I was in the AAU, I did teenage competition that was sanctioned by them. And I decided to leave. I got a phone call, inviting me to go to the Mr. World. Now the Mr. World competition was owned by Surgeon Bray. He created his own organization called WABA.
WABA, okay. I remember the name of that, yeah.
So you have NABA, Mr. Universe, WABA, Mr. World, and Mr. Olympia was NPC or Joe Weider and those guys. So here I am I was competing in the Mr. America in 1979. And I knew I wouldn't win. I was just trying to get experience. But there was a guy in there that was really good from head to toe, black guy. I said, he'll probably win. If he doesn't win, I know it's rigged. He didn't win. I thought, oh, man. I go, this is the problem. And to me, it was all racially charged. And I thought, man, John, I don't know about this. Competing here, busting your butt. Would they ever allow you to win? I'm not sure about that. And I got a phone call. Surgeon Bray wants to give you an invitation to come to the Mr. World. I said, Mr. World competition? All right, I can do that. So I decided to leave. I flew from Los Angeles to Paris. Now, strange thing was, when I got that phone call, the guy told me, I go, when is it? He go, in 3 months. I go, whoa, what do you mean 3 months? John, you're always in shape. Don't worry about it. I go, Mike, man, I need a little more time. No, you don't. So I knew if I left, even though there was no NPC, I was not a part of the IFBB, but they would kick me out of something I wasn't even a part of. So I left, and sure enough, they kicked me out of a club I wasn't even in.
And was IFBB Joe Weider, was it?
Yeah, so the IFBB,
Right.
he had the AAU, but IFBB kicked me out of IFBB. I wasn't even in the IFBB. I was an amateur, so like, what are you talking about? So I left, did the Mr. World, and I tell you, it was the best decision I ever made in my life. So I got on stage. Now, I was known as a performer. I have to, let's just step back for a minute. I was in a contest, and a buddy of mine said, John, you should, pose and do a little dance movements. I go, no, man, this is bodybuilding. I'm not doing that. He goes, John, I've seen you dance before. Trust me, everybody love it. You're a good dancer. Everybody's going to love it. So he convinced me to do it. So I did it, and they went wild. So I thought, wow. He said, I told you, man, I told you. So from that day on, which was like 1977, something like that, I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to start dancing. So judges got mad at me. I started reading articles saying John Brown is not serious about bodybuilding because he's on stage dancing. He doesn't take it serious. That's not what it was. So I said, okay, John, you got to change this. I said, I know what I'll do. Back then, most guys would come out on stage and pose to classical music. I said, okay, I'm going to give me a nice song and dedicate the first part of my routine to the judges. Second part will be for the audience. And that's where mixing music came in. I was the first guy to mix music. No one was thinking about that. But that's why I did it, trying to escape the criticism. So I went on stage, did my show, and man, they did not like it. But the audience loved it.
Yeah, I bet.
So why would I stop? So now let's fast forward. I'm in Paris, 1980. Serge Bray came up to me and said, John, they're going to go crazy when they see you perform. I go, you think so? Oh, they're going to love it. They've never seen anything like this, ever. So I got on stage, did my thing, and they went bananas, crazy, screaming. When I walked off that stage, my whole life changed. Meaning this. When I walked off that stage, I've never had so many people come up to me, grabbing me, wanting my autograph, wanting to take me to Spain, to Holland, to Germany, all over the world. I go, whoa, slow down. To do what? To do a seminar, to do a guest posing, it was crazy. So from that moment on, my life changed drastically. So at that time, there was no money in bodybuilding. Everybody was broke. Maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger made some money, but no one really made money. So I went to England for the Mr. Universe. Oh, it was even 10 times more incredible. So I couldn't get out of Europe anymore. I wanted to go home. John, can you come to Holland? Can you come to Yugoslavia? Can you come here? That's when Yugoslavia was still there. Can you come here? I go, man. And they were offering me money, right? I never had money. And so I'm like, okay. But I was homesick. I wanted to go home. And they kept, I tell you right now, I turned a lot of money down because I couldn't take it anymore. I got to go home. So I flew home, celebrated with my friends, and I got a phone call from Serge Bray. John, are you defending your title? Oh, yeah. Oh, you better be better than ever.
And this was a world.
Mr. World.
Right.
Right? But he's talking about Mr. World and talking about Mr. Universe. It's just in general, just warning me. Everyone hates you. And why would they hate me? I won. They like me. No. You won, and now they come to get you. They want to dethrone you. So when you get to the mountaintop, I wasn't aware of that. Everybody's throwing darts at you. In the gym, your poster's up. They're looking at you, and his trainer saying, do 2 more reps. Look at him. You got to beat him. 10 more. So I'm like, oh, man. He goes, oh, they're coming for you. Oh, my God. That was a shocking experience. I worked my ass off to get there. I thought I can excel. No, it gets harder. So that was a lesson well learned, that moment right there. So I trained even harder. Won again. Now, what I did was, and I think I only told this story once. I set up a network system. Because remember, there was no internet. There was no cell phones. All you had was fax machines and landlines. So when I go to Yugoslavia, when I go to Spain, when I go to Germany, Holland, wherever I went, to England, I met guys who had gyms. You own a gym? Yeah, you speak English? You had to speak English, and you need to have a gym. And you were my guy. So I had just about at least 20 countries. I had guys stationed. Even in some countries, I had them up north and down south. I had a lot of guys that I could call. So when I needed money, I would send one fax to each of them. Hey, August or July through August or whenever, I'm available for guest posing jobs. So start looking for work for me. So what I told the gym owners, if you find me a job, I'll give you 10% of whatever I make. And I'll train in your gym while I'm there. Okay.
How did you meet those guys? Just through when you was traveling?
They want to have an autograph.
Okay, right.
Hey, can you sign it for my gym? You got a gym? Right? Hey, John, give me, here's 10 Deutschmarks or whatever. Sign your autograph. Okay. To my gym. Oh, you have a gym. I stopped everything. You speak English? He goes, yeah, okay. What's your name? Okay. I've always had a guy with me. Jörg, get his information. I said, look, I want to come to Holland, or I want to come to England, or I want to come down, whatever, wherever it was, and I want you to set shows up for me. And I come train in your gym. Okay, good. They're all excited. Because I learned in Europe, especially Germany, Paris, and Holland, if you own a gym, how did this go? Let me recall. If you own a gym and you want the newspaper to come by your studio, they call them studios sometimes there, come by your gym to do an article, they will only do it if there was a celebrity or some special event in your gym. Or other than that, they won't do it. I said, look, if I'm in your gym, you can get the newspaper to come by, and then you're gonna get more publicity in your neighborhood.
Nice.
So I would teach them all this stuff. And then I would say, okay, I got hired to do a guest posing at a bodybuilding contest. I would do seminars in gyms. And then all of a sudden, a guy invited me to do a guest posing in a club, like a bar. I go, really? He goes, yeah. How much are they gonna pay me? And they paid me. It was full. He goes, on Tuesday nights, no one's in my bar. But if you come and guest pose, my bar will get full. So we called them disco shows. So I thought, wow, interesting. So I told everybody, all my contacts, okay, look, guys, if I come and do that show that, let's say there's a contest in Spain, I'll do the contest, but during the week I need to make more money. So I need to find me a seminar and look for a Tuesday night where it's weekend of disco and tell that guy I'll come there too. And this way he can make more money because his disco is open, but he's not making money. Number two, you own the gym, you're gonna you got more content, give out flyers, and you can get more people to come to your gym because they're all coming to see me. If they come to see me, they're interested in bodybuilding. Wow, that makes sense. So I got all these guys to do that. So I would never leave my house. When I say I went on tour, I knew exactly how much I was making. Sometimes I would, before I left, I had 40 grand in my pocket before I even left.
That's very entrepreneurial. Like, was that something that had been developed over your younger years by doing other things? Because it's a very smart system. You know, and when you think about today, where you've got the internet and you can connect with people. Back then, you didn't really have any of that. So it's quite a smart plan.
I just figured it out. It just made sense to me because I don't know, my dad or my neighborhood, no one told me anything like that. It just made sense to do that. So I did it. And I'm telling you right now, and that was like 81, 2, 3. I was making good money compared to everyone else, but I made one mistake. Listen up, if you guys listen, don't do this. So I'm in Germany. I'm in a gym. Me and this dude, we're working out. He says, I got to go do something. I said, all right, I'm going to go next door. There's a car dealership. Let's go look at cars. I like cars. So I'm walking and looking at cars. And the guy goes, I heard the owner go, is that John Brown? He goes, can I have your autograph? I go, yeah. You want to buy a car? I go, no, I'm just looking. It's a Mercedes dealership. Pick a car. I said, I can't afford these cars. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the price. I go, what you talking about? So I went over to this 450 SL convertible. I never forget it. I said, I like that car right there. He says, okay, I'm gonna give you a good price on it. I don't recall what it was. It was dirt cheap. I said, how in the hell am I gonna get it home? I'll take care, I'll ship it free for you. Don't worry, I'll take care of that. The guy shipped it. It came into the port, drove it home, and the rest was history. But that was a mistake. Because remember, at all this time, I'm kicked out of the IFBB. I can't do no shows here in America. I didn't care because I'm making money. And these guys are all starving to death. There was no contracts, no protein company. Joe Weider wasn't paying guys. Nobody was making money. I was the only guy making money. But it was a secret. I went to the Mr. California at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, me and my training partner. And I parked my car right in front in the red. And I waited for it to show the end. And I was sitting on my car, me and my buddy. Everybody came out, John, how you doing, man? Even my enemies, shaking my hand. And I'm talking, I'm okay, I'm good. What's going on, how's Europe? Because they all knew I left. That's all right. But they looking at me going, it's all right? They're looking at the car going, it's more than all right. And that car gave it away. Next time I went to Europe, everybody was there. I went to do a seminar. Normally I do a seminar in the gym for $2,000. Well, there's guys here, I'm not gonna name any names, but there's some guys here doing it for $1,000. I go, what? Yeah, so-and-so's doing it for $1,000. Then it went to $800. I go, oh man, killed it. Killed everything. So I shouldn't have never took that car there. I should have bought an old beat up car. Yeah, so you gotta keep, so the moral of the story is, every man got to have a nice car and an old car. I should have drove an old car there, and they would have just stayed away. But they flooded the market. But I pillaged that Europe. I took so much money out of there. Unbelievable.
There was a story that seemed as though you reconnected with the IFBB. I understand there was an event in Canada.
Yes.
Tell me about that story. And I'll remind you, I was watching it last night about the music tape, and it was very interesting the way that you approached that in an extremely confident way. But share that one, because I think that's a lovely story.
So I'm in Europe. I'm getting tired of it. So I want to go compete in the IFBB. I want to compete against Lee Haney. So I joined the IFBB, and they sent me a letter. Said I had to write a letter to Ben Weider apologizing for leaving the organization. How stupid is that? It's not even that big of an organization. So I did it. They said, okay, you've been reinstated. So I'm training for the Canada show. 2 weeks before the show, I get a phone call. Now, mind you, I was not able to go to Europe anymore, doing these shows with all those guys I did all those shows for, so money was dry. So I had to borrow money from a guy in the gym to get my plane ticket there just to compete. And now here's a guy that was making a lot of money. I always kept like $40,000 in my house. And here I am, money's going down, I almost have nothing. 2 weeks before the show, they said I cannot compete because somebody said that I'm not reinstated. So I go, oh man, I did all this for nothing. So I stopped training like I should, you know. Week before the contest, they said, oh, you can compete again. I go, man, I'm out of shape now. I'm not in shape. I said, all right, I got to get in. I'm not going to do good because I'm not like I should be. And I was pissed. So I flew to Canada, and I didn't have any money, so I went to the police station to stay there. Because I figured they got food, they got a chef, they got a guy cooking food, and so I talked to the police officer. Yeah, you can stay here, because I didn't have money for a hotel. And then I met a guy who said, "John, I got an extra bed in my room. You can stay with me." So I didn't have to stay in this police station. Stay with him. I go there. And Wayne D'Amelia, I think it was Wayne, came backstage, I believe. I think it was Wayne D'Amelia. I said, John, shook my hand. I'm glad you're here. I heard a lot about your posing routines. I read a lot of stuff. Hope you can live up to everything I've read about you. Like, kind of like doubt that I could do it. So I knew I wasn't going to compete a place good. So I always carried different cassette tapes with me. One that would knock you out, and the other one just do a little show. So I gave a guy originally my B tape. I didn't want to give him my A tape.
Why? Because you weren't confident that you were going to kill it.
Yeah. Well, I could have killed it anyway, but I didn't look good. I didn't feel like it. But when Wayne said that, with his arrogant face, I went back to the guy, the music guys that come here to do, give me that tape back. Take this A tape. Play this tape, and now there's instructions. At some point, you're going to hear silence, and you're going to think that something went wrong. But there's nothing wrong. I set it up like this because I'm going to get a standing ovation, and it's going to take me 10 seconds, and I'm going to be counting my steps as I'm act like I'm walking off stage. And by the time I hit that 10th step, I should have a standing ovation and an encore. So don't touch the tape. Just trust me on what I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now, I said, whatever happens here, God, help me do the best show I've ever done in my entire life. Because these guys, what they did to me, and I got on that stage and I burnt that stage up. And I'm walking off stage. They're clapping, they're screaming. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. And by the time I hit 7 or 6, more. They said, that's okay, 6. More, 7, more. And they're standing up. I said, oh, I got them now. And then Satisfaction came on Rolling Stones. Oh, they went crazy. I killed them. And I'm looking at Wayne D'Amelia, Ben Weeder, Joe Weeder in the front seat, in the middle. And when I threw my hands in there, I just stared at them. Everybody standing up except them. They all three had to stand up. I said, okay, give me my flowers. I walked off. And the rest was history. So, it was interesting back then. Glad I did it because I learned a lot of stuff from bodybuilding to help my sons.
Yeah, you said that bodybuilding was really influential in what they became.
Oh yeah, very, very, very. Now it wasn't all flowers and sugar and cream. There's some bad things. Like when I came back from Europe, there was a company, Muscle Digest, wanted to do a story on me. Because Muscle Digest was competing against Muscle and Fitness, but they couldn't use the athletes. So they were starving for athletes. I was the only guy. I was the only Mr. Universe in Southern Cal that you could do a story on. So John, we want to do a story on you. I said, okay, but I want to be on the cover of the magazine. Because in Europe, I was so famous, I was always on the cover of all magazines wherever I went. And the guy told me no, he wouldn't do it. I go, well, I'm not going to do the article. I go, why'd he say no anyway? That sounds weird to me. And he put his head down. I go, what's wrong? It was Mike Glass. He said that, no, was it Mike? I think it was Mike. He said he's not going to do it because you're black. I go, wait, what? I'm thinking he's joking, right? I go, that's not real. Seriously, what's the real reason? He goes, because you're black. It was funny to me. I thought it was a joke, right? I'm thinking, what's that got to do with anything, right? That's weird. And he was serious. And I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to do it. And a week later, okay, they'll put you on the cover. And they put me on the cover.
What year was that?
Dude, that was 1983 or something.
Wow.
You know, and I was like, all my suspicions were confirmed in that moment. And I thought, thank God I left. Because I wanted Mr. Universe. It's like Mr. President. Wherever I go, this is Mr. Universe. This is Mr. World. This is not Mr. NPC. There's a lot of guys out there, great bodybuilders. I thought Sean Ray should have won Mr. Olympia at least one of those times. You know, he was complete, good bodybuilder, and you know he won. Super world famous, globally famous. But where's the titles after all that work? You see? So I'm glad I left. I'm glad I did it because I got these titles. and they still follow me around today.
The wait is over. Our new Escape Fitness catalog has landed. This is the essential guide to all of the latest product innovations that are shaping the future of functional training. Bigger and better than ever, this year's catalog is 190 pages, jam-packed with everything from eye-catching, bespoke functional training frames to some of the latest strength training equipment. So sign up today to receive the digital version today. So what are you waiting for? Go to escapefitness.com now.
I guess people in the sport kind of know the differences, but the average person, it's like, oh yeah, Mr. Universe. It's the name.
They know that.
You almost feel it's bigger than Olympia for a lot of people, isn't it?
And then guess what? Arnold Schwarzenegger's name is on that list. My name is on that list. That's good for me.
Yeah.
You know.
When Sean obviously connected us, we interviewed him a little while ago, and you was a big influence in him getting involved and what he went on to become. Was there any people like that in your life when you were younger?
Yeah, when I was younger, I started off lifting weights because I wanted to just have big muscles. And I started playing football. And to make a long story short, I must have been like 13. Me and my buddies was at a park during the summer that was around the corner from my house. We'd always go there, hang out. And there's a really big guy. I don't know how big he was because I was a young kid, but his arms looked like they were 23 inches. He looked like he's 6'4", just massive. I'm like, what the hell? How'd you get like that? He goes, I lift weights. He says, you guys should come lift weights with me. So we started lifting weights with him. And Telly Roberts was his name. And we're in there lifting weights with Telly, and everyone quit except me. I kept training with him until Michael Riggins stole all the weights. So Michael Riggins...
From the gym?
Yeah, he got mad at Telly and broke in and stole the weights. I didn't find out until I got older, but he confessed that he stole the weights. I was wondering who took the damn weights. So then I went to Compton College here in California. I was from the city of Compton. Started lifting weights there and met a guy named, but remember, I'm lifting weights just to play football. And we was in a park one day, at Centinela Park in LA, and just had our shirts off running around. This really big guy, buff guy. Come here. What do you guys do? I go, play football. Man, flex for me. So I would flex for him. We were kind of afraid of him because he's real big. Flex, let me see what you look like. You shouldn't play football. You should bodybuild. You can win Mr. Universe. He told me that. I go, what? He goes, yeah, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Give me a number, I'm gonna call your dad. So I gave him my number, he called my dad. He says, your son can win Mr. Universe. He should be a bodybuilder. My dad goes, you wanna try it? I go, yeah. And sign me up for a contest. I win that contest, and it was unlimited. So I was like 16 maybe, or something like that. And it was like men that were 30, 40, unlimited, no age group. I came in third place. It must have been like 30 guys in there. I came in third place. And the guy named George Caracas. Poor guy died in an accident. He drove a big rig and had an accident. But that guy is a guy who got me into bodybuilding. And ever since I took third place in that contest, I go, interesting, I like this. So I went to my football coach in high school. I said, Coach, I have a question. We're losing every game. I want to go to the NFL. Will any colleges ever come see us play? I never see anybody around here. How does it work? How do you go from a losing program to college to the NFL? What's the path? What do I have to do? How does it work? He couldn't answer it. It shocked me. So I went to the head coach. He couldn't answer it. I go, whoa, I'm on the road to nowhere with these guys. I got to get out of here. So I thought, what George said. I went home, got in the mirror.
How old was you then, by the way?
I was like 16.
It's quite young. Like you obviously had like your entrepreneurial thing, and like some of these decisions they're not decisions that everybody would make like that. Realizing at 16 that, why is no one asking this question? Because there must be loads of cases where kids are following what everyone tells them to do, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe that will happen. But you actually questioned, and you through smart questions, you realize yourself actually there is no pathway, and you were thinking about making a key decision in your life, which is generally quite wise for a young boy.
I was always like that. If I could take you to Emerson Elementary School when I was in the fourth grade, I could stand and take you to a spot and say, right here I was standing, and I told this little girl that I was going to go to the Olympics and win medals. I want to win a gold medal. I'll be the best athlete they ever saw. Now, it never happened, but I was thinking like that is the point. And I was one of the fastest guy in the school until I found out somehow they didn't make money. I go, well, I'm not doing that. So I said, okay, can't do that. So I said, okay, just do football. They make money in football. So that's how I was always chasing a dream ever since I can remember.
Was money a challenge when you was younger as a family?
Oh yeah, we didn't have a lot of money, but I didn't know back then until I got older and I thought back, well, I almost never remember. It was 7 kids in my family. I don't really ever remember my mom making breakfast for us. So we just go to school. And we'd get there and try to borrow money from guys to buy us some milk and a pastry or something. And lunchtime, they had free lunch. So we would look forward to lunch. So thank God. And I went home. It was almost never dinner on the table. But we never thought about it until I got older. I'm like, well, so? I thought everybody lived like that. So, yeah, so we didn't have much. And so I always wanted to be something special. Always, since I was a little, I'm telling you, since I was in 4th grade, I wanted to be something special in life. And I just was trying to find my way. My parents didn't help me. They didn't push me. They didn't motivate me. They didn't share things with me. I was on my own. But I was determined to find out what to do and how to do it, you know?
Were you the eldest, or did you have older
I was
brothers?
in the middle, 7 of us. I was in the middle.
And what about your other sort of brothers? Were they sort of motivational in any of this?
No.
Really?
They were just regular guys. My sisters all just no motivation to do nothing. None of my brothers, my mother, my father, my sisters, none of them ever came to see me compete. Ever, ever, ever. I remember at the Mr. Universe contest, I knew I had won, and it was getting ready to announce my name. And I looked between the curtains at the audience. And I saw a couple of people sitting in the audience from America, of friends, guys that were competing with me. And I thought, man, I'm here by myself. By myself. I got to change that. Why isn't nobody here supporting me? But they never came. And I kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. You know, I didn't want to invite them anymore. And I did. And as I got older, I said, you know what? When I have kids, that would never, ever happen in my house. I will always be there to support my kids all day and night. So that helped me, you know. It changed me. It made me who I am, actually.
One of the things I wanted to go on to is you've got a unique training approach. One of the statements I heard you talking about in an interview was there's no such thing as overtraining.
Yeah. I don't believe in overtraining. You can only undersleep and undereat. If it's all on the same level, you can't think of a scenario. You can't train the size of a quarter and eat the size of a dime. It has to be all quarters. So people globally probably will see this. So you can't train like this and eat like that. That's just not gonna work. You know what I mean? You can't eat like this and train like that. It has to be the same. So you can only undereat, undersleep. Sleeping is very important. I was sleeping 12 hours a day, minimum, sometimes 13. And sometimes even 14 hours.
Was that something like now there's a lot of information about the importance of sleep and a lot more research around. At that time, it probably wasn't as top of mind as what it is today with podcasts and things like that. Like, was that just something instinctively you
I had puppy dogs.
Yeah.
I had dogs, and I saw little kids. They always slept, and I figured out They sleep. They both sleep. Puppies, babies, because they're growing. You don't need the internet. Just open your eyes, look at nature. Nature tells you everything. So I saw that and I thought, sleep is important. So you got to sleep a lot. And I never had injuries, but I know without reading, I know injuries also, it's logical to me that your injury healed themselves during the sleep. So I bet if I open up a book and read it, it'll say that. This is logical to me. So if you get injured, you got to sleep a lot. That's how you repair your body. Your body won't repair itself if you're running around. So these things to me were simple and they're all logical. You know, it just made sense. I didn't quite understand what other guys, they would tell me, even today, because my sons are playing football. Oh, they got these special trainers now, these professional trainers, charging all kind of money to train guys. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. So they'll see me and my son training. They go, oh, look at, he's rocking with the weights too much, right? His form is not good. Let me explain something to you. That's all BS. Because let's look at this. Let me give you an example. I like painting pictures. Let's say you're running a quarter. The quarter is a very difficult race. By the time you hit that last 100 yards, that monkey jumps on your back and you get so stiff and you lose your form and you grit your teeth and you're running up and you're dying, but your form is bad. At that point, should the track coach say, oh, you got to stop, you can't run because your form is bad? No, he tells you keep running because eventually it'll go away. You'll get better and stronger. Same thing with rocking with weights. You don't tell a guy not to rock. That's stupid. You have to rock with weights at some point in order to get stronger and to get better. You want that monkey on your back quick. So when I'm training with weights, I try to get the monkey on my back fast. In other words, if I do bench press, I'll do bench press and then jump down and do push-ups. 30 seconds next, 30 seconds, rest. Bench press again, push-ups to failure. That monkey's on your back real quick. You cannot get better unless you get the monkey on your back.
How do you you train your sons that are world class they're in the NFL, and my guess is that they're very valuable to the teams they play for. Also, what you're saying, I get it in bodybuilding. You could sort of argue that, but in that type of sport, argue that you can, for example, rock or cheat or break the form, for example.
You can't argue it. Only if you're an idiot. You can't argue. It's facts.
In performance sport where there could be risk of injuries, do you get a lot of pushback if you're suggesting that you train the sons that way?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Pushback from A to Z, from the beginning to now. I told them, I said, don't listen to them. Listen to me. I won the Mr. Universe. I'm not just a dad. I didn't win the Mr. Universe twice just because I got lucky or I didn't know what I was doing. I know something. So I always tell my boys, you got two choices. One, listen to you, or two, listen to me. And if I were you, I'll listen to me because I've done this thing. So I tell my sons, look, don't let those guys ruin your career. They're doing the best they can, but they don't know what they're talking about. There's a big difference between practice and theory. Theoretically, they read a book, they go to school. I understand that, but it's all BS. They have no clue what they're doing. You got to put the shoes on and walk through hell in order to understand this stuff I'm talking about.
With the form then, so let's say there's a movement and you load the weight to a level where you can't do perfect form and you're having to rock, as an example. So is in your philosophy, do you get them to get comfortable with the weight until they can do that weight with a good form? Do you start with a good form, or are you saying that form?
You start with a good form.
Okay.
Right? And as your muscles get tired, your form's gone. But don't stop there.
Okay, I'm with you. Right.
You push through with bad form or you'll never get better. You start with form. But at some point when that monkey gets on your back, your form is gone because you're trying to survive. And eventually your body will get stronger and stronger. And then you'll get better and better. You cannot improve. Muscle can't grow unless you reach that point of no return. You got to reach that point. Now, keep in mind, everybody got to understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making your muscle, listen carefully, making your muscle grow without steroids. This is what I'm referring to. without growth hormone. This is what I'm referring to. That's a dying art form. People don't know how to do that anymore. So when you hear guys going against what I said, and you look at them, and they got 22-inch arms, they're taking a lot of stuff. You can't, I'm talking about naturally. Look, I'm from Compton. When I was bodybuilding, teenage competition, came to Cal State Fulton when I was 18. I think I was like 19 or something, is when the first time I even heard of a steroid. I thought it was a joke. Where I come from, we don't know about that. We never heard of that. Guys come out the penitentiary where I'm from, 20-inch arm, 19-year-old kids. I know because I went to Eric Baker's house and his brother Ronnie had just got out of prison and he let me tape his arms. So I taped his arms. They were 20 inches. He was 19 years old. There's no steroids in the prisons. These guys are just lifting weights. So when I talk, I'm talking about making your muscle grow without steroids. This is a dying art form. This is what I'm referring to. So the guys who are going against what I'm saying, it's because they're taking gear. But they're not telling you that. It's like you ask a guy, hey, do you masturbate? He's gonna lie and say no. If he says no, you're gonna think he's lying anyway. So you can't, you gotta listen to these, you can't listen to these guys. They're gonna lie to you. So there is a way, when I was 18, well, no, 16, I had 16-inch arms. When I was 17, I had 17-inch arms. No roids, no nothing. 18, 18-inch arms. 19, 19-inch arms. When I hit 20, I didn't have 20-inch arms. I only had 19 and a half. I'll never forget. I'm pissed. I'm still pissed about that. Right? And this is no roids, no gear. I just training, eating like crazy and sleeping, training like I'm talking about. So if you're out there and you want to learn how to train and get big muscles and look good, like I did it, like the guys in the penitentiary, that's how you got to train. You got to put stress on the muscle within the first. I try to exhaust my muscles in the first 2 sets. I want it to be exhausted and then go, because that's when you get better.
Well, take me through, give me a traditional, a typical workout session, maybe with something like legs, or if you combine that with something, because I understand you do.
I combine legs and
sets.
back.
Legs and back.
Same day.
That's it. Those are two brutal body parts to combine.
Brutal body parts. On Mondays. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Go on and talk me through
3
that.
days a week.
So you do chest and back 3 days a week?
Everything 3 days a week.
Wow.
You want to grow with no roids, you got to do this. So I would start back. I would do pull downs, supersetted with rolls. Boom, 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 me and a partner. Never more than one guy. Because, and even one guy would get in my way sometimes. Because if he takes too long, I look, man, I'm trying to get big. I got to go right now. It's always my turn. I can't wait on you. You got to move fast. Boom, 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 5 sets. When you move fast like that, trust me, you're burned out. You're done already. Then we go in the corner.
5 sets of each, 5 sets of rows, 5 sets of pull downs. Right.
Then we go in the corner. And we put the bar, the bar in the corner and do bent over rolls. We'll put, let's say 4 plates, 10 reps. Sit next to me, let's say it's a 100-pound dumbbell, 10 reps, 10 reps.
Superset again.
Superset. Boom, boom. But by the time I'm doing the rolls, no. I was going to say that I would let my partner go, but I didn't. I stopped that because they were cheating. So I said, no, I'm counting every rep. So if I do 10, you wait until I finish. Now go, and I'm going to count 1, 2, because there ain't no cheating, because misery loves company. So he would do 10. Next set, 5 plates. Now you do 15 reps, ascending reps. Now you do 15 reps, then you do dumbbells, 1-arm dumbbell rolls, bent over rolls. Then you go to like 110, 15 reps.
So you're doing 15 on the row, 15 on the dumbbells, 15 on the row.
Yeah.
So and left and right arm. So
yes.
Okay.
Next set, 6 plates, 20 reps. 120 dumbbells, 20 reps, ascending reps. Let me tell you something. Your second set, you're on your knees. You're dying because there ain't no rest. We moving. We do 5 sets of that. That's 20 sets of back.
And when you're doing the reps, like are you doing fast cheat reps or are you controlling it? How's that?
You do whatever you can do. If you don't
just
do them
move the
right,
weight.
Trust me. At some point, and you ain't using straps.
Right.
No straps. Use straps. You're out of the gym. Man hands. And at some point, you can barely hold that bar. You're so tired. And if I snap on you, I may put 7 plates on and go to 30 reps. If I snap, now you got to do it. Whatever I did, you got to do, or you can't train with me. It's very difficult.
I bet you burned through training partners.
Well, yeah, but I didn't really like training with guys anyway because they're always in the way. It's always my set. Then I would do legs the same day. So now you're dead. Now you got to do legs.
What do you think that's about 30 minutes getting
About
to
30 minutes
Okay.
or 20. I move so fast
Right.
that I can get through it in 20 minutes. I can get through quick. You're like, 30 minutes and we're done. So now we do leg extensions, warm-up set, superset with leg curls. Leg extensions, let's say we do first set, let's say at 180 pounds or something. 100 reps. You can do 30 reps without stopping. Then you can sit there and go count to 5 seconds, 20 more, 5 seconds rest, 20 more until you hit 100. You hit 100, and if your feet hit the ground, you start over. Don't ever stand up. You go to leg curls. You start at, like, say, 170, do 10. Then you go to 180, 165, 150, 5 reps, 140, 130, like that, until you get to the stack. And then you start over. Your turn, 100 reps again. With a weight that you can only do 20 with without stopping. You got to do 100 with that. Now, at that point, I'm telling you right now, 5 sets of that, you're done.
Yeah.
Now we squat.
I can't imagine they can even walk after that. But, so
They can't walk. You have a pain in your quad that you never experienced before. Now we're going to squat. And when we squat, we're going all the way down. We're not doing halfway, all the way down. And if I snap on you and you piss me off, I'll pull the racks out. I'll tell everybody, get the fuck back. Nobody touch him, I'm going to fucking whip your ass. Now he's suspended.
How many plates is he?
Whatever his max is.
Okay.
Fuck, John, what are you doing, you son of a bitch? Don't worry about it. Everybody step back. Let me tell you something. You have to find another gear. If I do that to you and ain't no racks, no safety racks, and everybody don't step back, and you suspended in the air by yourself, you got to go, you get crazy. You want to fight me after that. This thing was real, man. So
you just to finish off the legs. So you've done your leg extension, leg curls, you've done your squats, and then that's it.
No. Then you do leg press.
Leg press.
Same situation. Load the thing up.
Is that like the sort of
45
one?
Yeah. Okay. And you do, I never know what I did. I would put as many plates as I could. Sometimes I do whatever I could do till failure. It could be 10 reps, 20 reps, whatever it is you're doing. And you're next. And I'm telling you right now, and then after that, we'll do calves, right? You don't want to come back to the gym tomorrow morning. We're doing that 3 days a week.
Jeez. That's wow. I guess listening to that, it sounds just very few people could even survive that.
No, you can do it. Your body will get used to it at a point. But you got to eat.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You got to sleep.
How old were you when you were able to do that kind of stuff?
Oh, shit, I was doing that since I perfected when I got older, but I was doing it when I was 20.
Okay. And until how many years did you sustain that?
Till I started competing.
Really?
Yeah.
And that intensity, which it is in a work, is that something that you took over to when you started to train your kids?
Same thing.
Wow.
If you saw them train, you'll go, who the hell is this guy with these 3 boys? And why are they going so hard? My boys are walking the gym like robots. They're outside, they invite one of their friends. I go, I don't like friends. I don't like people coming in here. This is work for us. Did you tell him how hard this is? This is not for the average human being. Did you warn him, Papa? We warned him. You sure? Because I don't want to get in a fight with this guy. I take this shit serious. I know, Papa, I told him. All right, I said, and so I get the guy, I said, you want to do this? I said, it's our job, right? And we're trying to get to the NFL, right? You understand that? And it's a rhythm. If you get in the set, it's a rhythm. If you stop, you fuck the rhythm up. You understand that? He goes, yeah. I said, all right. I don't want no bullshit out of you. All right. You lift weights before, young man? Yeah. I always told my son, if you bring anybody in the gym, make sure you have a can of Coke. If you don't have a can of Coke, I won't train you.
Why is that?
Because your ass is going to be dead. And the only thing that can revive you is a Coke. Not Gatorade, none of that stuff. That stuff don't work. Coca Cola is the best thing. Because if you've never been in a half dream, which is the half dream.
Half dream.
Half dream. It's the state between conscious and unconsciousness. That state right there. Where you're about to pass out, you're throwing up, and they tell you, elevate your legs. I tried that. Put a cold towel behind your head. I tried that. Nothing works. Only thing works is a Coke. I found that out by training myself, killing myself. I'm sitting on the ground. I'm tired. I got a headache. I'm exhausted. I'm about to pass out. And I just don't feel good. I elevate my legs. Like, I get my head right. I would TKO myself. One day I'm sitting down on the ground, sweating just like this, sleeping, because I couldn't go home. I couldn't walk. And I saw a Coke machine. I said, let me get up. I crawled over there, got myself a Coke. I'll never forget it. When I drank that Coke, oh my God. I go, oh wow, I feel normal. What the hell was that? That's how I figured out Coke is what you gotta drink. So I always have my sons drink Coke. Don't drink Gatorade, drink Coke.
What does it take for a person that you're working with, coaching, like your kids, to be able to get into that mindset, that level of intensity? Because that is not that's very unusual to have that sort of approach. In some ways, you could say it's slightly crazy.
Yeah. Well, my sons only knew that. So if your sons only know that, they don't know anything else. So it's just what they did, And their friends would come in, they would last 15 minutes maybe, and then they're on the ground throwing up. I said, okay, move out the way. Get over there. And one guy said something to me, I never forget it. He goes, Mr. Brown, I understand why people don't want to work out with you, and they don't like this. I go, why? It puts you in an uncomfortable position, and no one wants to be in this position. See, they like doing medicine balls. They like doing all that other plyometric, all that stupid stuff. Now, keep in mind, when I'm talking about only one thing. How do you train to become the best in the world? Not number 2, number 1 on the planet. How do you do that? That's what I'm talking about. So those of you who may say, he's wrong, that's because you want to be number 2 or number 3. I'm talking about number 1. Any guy that's number 1 or made it number 1, he's going to tell you he's right. Unless you've been there, you're not going to know it. So the eagles can't fly with the doves. You understand what I'm saying? So they may not understand it, which is fine. One more thing I want to say about bodybuilding, I've got to changing gears here real quick because I just thought of something. I was a very gifted bodybuilder. When I was 8 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, all my friends would make me take my shirt off and flex. I never knew why. I was a little kid. Just take your shirt off, okay? Flex. And I would just squeeze my muscles. All the time they did that. So I was just really, just naturally just gifted. I never dieted. I never went on a diet. Won the Mr. Universe, won the Mr. World, never went on a diet, ever in my life. Never did one sit-up. all I did was eat hot dogs. Before a contest, I just eat hot dogs because I was eating too much. I never had to diet or nothing. And all these other guys on these diets, I'm like, man, I wonder what that's like. I would eat hot dogs. I could drink milk. I could eat candy. So I was a different type physically, you know, that makes sense? So I was gifted in that sense, you know. Like my sons, they're all the same. They can go on the stage right now, and they were 17 to 16. We're at Venice Beach, and they had this bodybuilding show. I just went to see my friends. I looked at the teenagers. I said, oh, my God, you guys can beat these guys easy. And they're football players. I go, dude, do it. No, Papa, we're not going to do that. I said, come on, just do it for me. Just you got your underwear on? He goes, yeah. So just get up there. I'll put some grease on you, some oil on you, and just flex. You ain't got to know how to flex. Just do anything. You're going to win because no one looks like you. They wouldn't do it. They're all, they're specimens because I trained them like that.
With genetics clearly plays a part in this, particularly when it comes to bodybuilding, but the training component, it seems as though maybe that doesn't. So obviously if you want to win a particular physique competition, you're judged on shape, etc. But if you want to train for a sport or for anything really, or have that attitude where you want to be number one, is that something that is also in your mind genetic, or are those skills that anybody can do?
Those are skills you can learn.
Okay.
Here's what I always tell people. They always want to know how'd you do that with your sons? There's a guy you ever seen the girl stands on the wall like this and the guy throw the knives and outline her body, but he never hits her. My question is, how many knives did he have to throw to perfect that before he told his wife, okay, honey, I think I'm ready. Why don't you stand on the wall? How many knives did he have to throw? Second question, was he born with that skill? Absolutely not. He learned it. So if that guy can learn it, any joker can learn it. It's the same thing with sports. It's how you approach it. Yes, it can be taught to anybody, but here's what I'm saying. You can't say, you got to project your kids. You can't say, my son is going to be 5'5", and he wants to be a professional defensive lineman in the NFL. You got to project what you think where they can be within reason. But after that, absolutely, I believe it. 200%. I'm the exception. I'm not the rule. When I had my kids, I didn't know if they're going to be the exception or the rule. But I know one thing. I said, guess what? I'm going to take it as if they're the rule, and I'm going to teach them. And you instill these things in them, and just like the guy who threw the knives, Michael Jackson. His daddy didn't just say, here's some instruments, you guys want to play or not? If you don't want to play, I'm just going to leave them there. Listen, there's no such thing as lazy kids. It's only lazy parents. Always get on the parents. It's the parents' fault. That's why I started my John Brown Black Coffee podcast, to talk to these parents about these things, because they don't get it. I would see kids and go, dude, if that was my son, oh, he's going to the NBA or NFL or something. He's been blessed with the skill set. He just got to develop it. It's like, throw the knives. How many knives are you throwing? How many knives as a mother and a father, how many knives have you thrown? You didn't throw enough. You throw enough knives, it happened. It's real simple. My sons are there because I made them like that. And don't pick, look, if you're a mom or dad, you have to guide your kids. You can't say, well, I want to see what he like, what he gravitate towards, what's nice for him. That's all bullshit. That's bad parenting. That's lazy parents. You tell them what to do. You're not gonna let your 8-year-old kid or your 5-year-old kid tell you, I don't like this house, let's buy another house. You're not gonna, I don't want to go to school. You're not gonna accept none of that. You have to guide them. So, I love bodybuilding, but my sons were forbidden to bodybuild.
Forbidden.
What if they would have won a 5-time world champion like me? My son got $120 million. He would have never got $120 billion anywhere else. I knew what to do. I said, no, you're not doing that. That's stupid. You're going to do this. If you become what I think you're going to become, you're going to be rewarded. Pick the right, if you have a daughter, don't have her do gymnastics or some stupid stuff like track. Stay away from that. There's no money in that. Believe in your daughter. What if she's going world champion? Put her in somewhere she can get paid. You got to believe in your kids. Most people don't believe in their kids. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of new age athletic parents, let's call them. And they've never done it, so they don't know. I've been to the mountaintop 5 times, so I know how to get there. So I know how many knives got to be thrown. If it's not enough, I go, that ain't enough. I know right away. I just left my son's practice. A kid came up to me, hey, I saw you on the podcast. Him and his dad. What do you do? I play basketball. 30 minutes, 40 minutes before I got here. How old are you? 14. Are you good? Yeah. How many shots you put up? A lot. I go, a lot? His dad goes, a whole lot. I go, how many? A lot. I see, it's not gonna work. You can't say a lot. You gotta quantify this thing. See, what is a lot? That's like saying I can jump real high and I'm a high jumper, but I never put a stick up to see how high I can jump. And I say, well, what's your height? What's your personal best? I don't know, but I can jump high. It's stupid. You got to count, man. I said, look, it's up to the parents. The parents don't know what's needed because they've never done it. I understand that. But hell, you got to find somebody who's been there like myself and just listen to me. If you don't agree, just do what you're told. You'll figure it out later. But this is the thing. Yes, it can be taught. Absolutely, I believe it can be taught. But you gotta understand, did you throw enough knives today?
What have you learned about coaching over the years and your coaching style? There's definitely a difference between coaching other children that you don't have that sort of father-kid relationship, because my relationship with my kids is there's times when you're the father, there's times when you're the coach, that you have different hats to play.
Yes.
And how have you been able to navigate that with your kids, where maybe they wake up and you have your family stuff that's going on? How do you draw the line between, okay, right, I'm the coach, this is what we're doing, and you're going to listen to me, and the times where they decide they don't want to do stuff?
I never had that.
You've never.
That means I had that question presented to me on my podcast. That means from the beginning you didn't set it up right. Let me say this. I would say most parents don't have a problem with most kids going to school in the morning. I believe most kids don't tell their parents, I'm not going to school in the morning, or have an argument with them about attending school. Most of them attend school because you set it up right. It's the same thing. I set the training up and the mindset from the beginning. Like, they know they're going to school. You're talking about you're not going to school. Are you sick? Okay, but other than that, you're going to school. They're trained to train. This is how they grew up. They think it's normal. A guy who works on a farm, I'm assuming he gets up at, let's say, 5 a.m. and milk the cows before he goes to school. And if I did, I go, wow, Jesus. But it's what he does. You have to set it up. As a parent, set it up right. What does that look like? I would always tell my kids, line up when they're 3, 4, and 5. They would line up, stand at attention. I said, what did I tell you about girls? The dream killers, Papa. Okay, don't forget that. Almost every other day I would ask them that, and they would have to reply that. Why are we training? To go to the NFL, Papa. Okay, don't forget that. All the time. When they're lifting weights, 6, 7, 8 years old, I'm whispering in their ear because I don't want people in the gym to know what I'm doing. They think it's abusive. I would whisper in their ears, you know what this is for, right? Yes. Look, this is for the NFL, okay? So you need to, let's go. Make this a good set. You want to get to the NFL? Yes, Papa. Okay. Show me what you got. I would always enforce that
It sounds as though you had this vision from a very young age. I don't know whether this story is true, but I was there was an example about when your kids were born and you were deciding on their name, you'd had the vision to think about what name would be on their T-shirts.
The jersey, yeah.
Their jersey. Tell me about that.
So before my kids were born, when I was 19, a friend of mine was trying to write a book at Cal State Fullerton. And one of the characters' name was Equanimous. I go, wow, that's a cool name. Where'd you get that from? He explained it to me. I said, man, my first child gonna be named Equanimous. Really? I go, yeah, I love that. I was 19 years old when I said that. How did I know I was gonna have a child? How did I know how to have a boy? All I can tell you was it had to have been divine, because I just knew everything. I can't explain to you, like God was guiding me. I knew everything. I knew what to do. I felt like Noah in the ark or something. I knew what to do. My wife was laying there, had the baby. I said, okay, we gotta talk about the last name. What do you mean? I said, it can't be Brown. It don't look good on the jersey. There's too many Browns, and they get in trouble all the time. Well, what are you talking about? I said, just trust me. I can't explain it to you, but I just know there's some jerseys involved here. I like Saint Brown or Von Brown. You're German, so Von sounds kind of German, Von Brown, right? No, that's not good. No. That's okay, Saint Brown. So I wrote it in. Walked out, and I had 3 boys. I just can't explain to you. I just knew it. I knew it. And when it came to training them, I knew everything what to do. I didn't play that much football, but I knew what to do. Where to go, what to say, when to fold them, when to hold them. I just knew. Just do this, trust your dad. I know what I'm talking about. A lot of people hated me, called me names, right? Okay, I don't care. Just boys, as long as you guys listen to me, that's all that matters. You know, and so we got on this journey and just kept going, but there's more to it than, because we only have so many minutes to it, so to explain everything is difficult, but that's why, like, when they were little boys, I went to their school to see the lunch program. Because, you know, I'm big on food and sleep. I didn't like what they were eating. I go, oh, this is a problem. So I developed my own protein called cane protein for my kids. I wasn't doing it to sell. It was just for my kids. I'm from the industry, so I know guys. I say, man, you need to get a formula made for me, for my children. So the guy made a formula for my children, and I would give it to them. And
what was special about the formula? You know,
I made sure that it was whey protein, because creatine is, in my opinion, it's good, but it's good for bodybuilders, not for athletes, because it dries out. It pulls muscle water from tendons and from bones to put into the muscle, and you can tear things if you're running and jumping. So I said, okay, I need a good whey protein, good quality source, not a lot of fillers. I need good quality protein from my boys. And we did that. And I gave it to them. I got it packaged. My wife said, you're crazy. What are you wasting money on that for? I said, don't worry about it. It's important. And when they got out of high school, I did this when they were like 7, 8, 9. When they got out of high school, I started selling it. Right? My son got pissed because he goes, don't sell it to people. That's just for us. I go, you're already going to college. Relax. So it's Cane, C-A-N-E. So if anybody wants to look it up, go on caneprotein.com. Because what people don't realize, unless you're a bodybuilder, you would know, a kid that's 8 years old needs more protein than I do because he's growing. People don't realize that, the average person. So the kids are not eating enough. And it's kind of strange to me, but again, that's why I'm glad I was a bodybuilder, because there's things I learned about training, about eating, about discipline. I taught my kids how to be disciplined. Just through life, they learned discipline because they saw me, and here's what I told them what to do, and that's all they did. So this is what I do. I don't know anything else. My dad taught me this. So it's not nothing that's special to them. It's just what they learn.
You said you were eating hot dogs before competition. Like, has your diet evolved? And if so, what are some of the basics that you get your kids to eat now? I guess it's
My
not hot
diet
dogs.
evolved because as you get older, you know, you start thinking it changes. I'm like, look, I'm not growing, so I don't need as much protein, and I try to eat cleaner. I'm against clean eating for athletes.
Really?
But it's bad.
And what? Just
Well, let me say,
explain.
right now I eat clean because I'm older and I'm trying to live longer to enjoy my kids. I believe in eating dirty. Okay, I don't. Shoot, I'll show you something, my man. See what that say?
Eat dirty.
Eat
Eat dirty.
dirty.
Protein.
Eat dirty. I believe in eating dirty, meaning this. My kid he's at high school. We went to some college just to look at it. And the trainer or the nutrition guy, some fool, was trying to tell my son to eat a lot of chicken and fish. I just let him talk. I go, you know that's bullshit, right? When he left. Don't ever do that. As a bodybuilder, most bodybuilders, they train to go for a competition. By the time 4 months before, 3 months, they go on a diet to get lean, to get vascular. Chicken and fish, brown rice, egg whites, and they lean out. But they lose 30% of their strength. All bodybuilders know this. You lose 30% of your strength. So why would you do that as a young man trying to compete in the NFL? Why would you want to lose 30% of your strength? Collectively, your team will lose. But they don't know because they weren't bodybuilders. See, they read this book and it said that, but it's wrong. So you got to eat dirty. Red meat, beans, tacos, chips, eat whatever you want. I believe in eating whatever you want, but the main source is red meat. But eat dirty, eat ice cream, eat everything.
And that's to get that I guess with your training philosophy, then you're about getting in the calories.
The calories, you know how hard it is. You know how hard it is to eat like 12,000 calories. It's almost impossible. That's why they make supplements. But you got to eat dirty. Don't eat clean. When they say to eat clean, if you're older, it's different. Or if you're trying to do a bodybuilding contest, it's different.
Right.
If you're trying to be an athlete, you need to eat dirty. But expend a lot of energy, okay? You can't eat dirty like that and then train like that. That ain't gonna work. You gotta, train like this and eat dirty.
And at your age now, how are you training? And then, what sort of food are you eating then?
Right now, chicken and fish.
Right.
Chicken and fish. I try to maybe 3 days a week, or I work out, but not heavy, just reps, just to stay in shape or something like that. But not trying to ever overexert myself at this point.
Are you aiming to maintain your muscle as
much as I can?
Right.
It's difficult, right?
Really?
Oh man, because I was naturally a thin kid. When I first started working out, I was 6 feet, 130 pounds. So it's difficult for you. It's natural that my body wants to go back to that state. So I try to. This is gonna sound weird. I hate going to the gym. I hate going to the gym.
For what reason?
I've been going to the gym since I was freaking 14 or 13. I hate it. You know how many years I've been going to the gym? I hate it. But I hate also how I look if I don't go. So I'm like, oh man, here I am back in this gym. I hate that gym.
Oh, you hate it because you've just done it so much and you're
Yes.
tired of it.
Yes.
Okay. Did you used to look forward to going in?
Oh yeah. My friend Steve Griffin told me one day I'm not going to the gym. I said, what? Get out of here. Come on, hurry up. Meet me at the gym. No, man, I'm tired of it. I hate it. I go, what? I couldn't believe he said that, Steve Griffin. Wow, it's weird. Maybe something's wrong with him. One day I woke up, I hated it.
How old was that? Were you roughly when you...
When you hit 25, 30 year mark, you may start not liking it. So some of these guys, these new booties, we call them new booties, right?
New booties.
New booties, new guys, they just started working out 5 years ago. They love it. Even if they're 50 years old, they just started, so it's new to them. That's like tennis, football, any sport. After 25, 30 years, you're done with it. It's normal. Even if you had a job, you retired, you're done with it. It's life.
Do you still do you still get involved in the like the activities that you were doing, like when you were posing? Like it seemed as though you were quite you like doing dancing and that kind of stuff. You're a very talented performer. Do you still have an element in your life where you get to express that side of you? Because you was clearly like
I used to.
Okay.
I'm an artist. So I majored at Cal State Fullerton. I was an artist. So I was an art major. So my gift from God is paint. I can paint and draw real good. So because of that, I have a way to express myself maybe a little different than most people, and I have a little talent when it comes to that. So, but right now, no, I don't. I was designing clothes for a long time. I stopped doing that, and
yeah, I heard you designed like the stringy.
Yeah,
is that what you call them? Like
I
string
designed
t-shirts?
So you may not know this woman, or Florence Griffin Joyner. She's a famous track star here in America, in early, mid 80s, late 80s. I was dating one of her girlfriends, and I made these spandex outfits. And me and my buddy convinced her and her friends to wear it. Everybody went crazy over it, the world. It was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, everything. And I would give them these suits, and they would run. They even ran in the Olympic trials. In 1984 Olympic trials, they ran in my suits. I still got the articles of them running with the American flags in my suits I made. At that time, there was no Lycra on the track. I put Lycra on the track. I did that. I convinced them to do it. Then Florence Griffin Joyner started doing her own stuff and telling everybody, oh, look what I did. But it came from me. I'm the guy who started it. And she took it and did her own stuff also, but it came from me. I'm the guy who originated that. Yeah.
What would you now, where you're at a stage where you've had, how old are you, by the way?
Never tell the age. I never tell the age.
Are you over 60 and under 70 or?
Oh, under 70, yeah.
You're under 70?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Over 60 and under 70. All right, so 65.
My wife don't know my age. She thinks she does, but I never told her.
Well, I guess you're at a stage where you've had good experience you've had a lot of experience in your own career and learning what it takes to get to the top there. You've also brought up some very successful children. What advice have you got for other people that can be useful and practical for them to use in their own life, whether that's an individual as a child, relating to the mindset that it takes to be able to excel or to become the best that they can be? Because clearly a lot of the things that you talk about, yet there's clearly a physical component, but it seems to originate from the mindset that you have and the way that you approach anything in your life. So someone that's probably not where they want to be, but they have this desire in them. Are there any things that you found that you narrowed down in any of your coaching or that you learned in your own experience that you can pass on to other people?
You got to be careful who you hang out with. Because if you hang out at the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. You got to be very careful with that. Another thing I would say is I would go to my John Brown Black Coffee podcast and follow me, because I guarantee you, when I interview these parents, they got questions that you have, and you're going to hear the answer. You go, wow, that's just what I was thinking about. How do I do that? You have to, it's a mindset that you have to establish. And if you don't have it, you'll have to reset your mindset. You have to shut everything down and turn it back on and start from go. how do I teach someone to develop discipline at a later age in life? You have to do what you say you're going to do. For an example, I told my kids, I took a calendar, I put it on their wall when they're little kids. I said, I want you guys to do 100 push-ups every night and write your name, sign your name. If you don't do it, don't sign it. Okay, Papa. A month later, I came back in the room, I looked at it, okay. They all did it. Okay, you know what this means? This means for the rest of your life, if you say you're going to do something, you know you can count on yourself to do it. That's a form of discipline. It's a way, it's a silly way maybe, but it's a way one of the things I use to teach them that. So they know for a certainty for the rest of their life, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm doing it. I know I trust myself to do it. I would give them little things like that to do. And there could be more that I'm not thinking of right now. But again, in my podcast, things will pop up or someone would ask a question and inspire me to articulate, some other things that I did to my kids to teach them that. I was born with it. So you can't go by me. It's good to go by what I did with my kids because they're all three super disciplined kids. My kids speak German, French, English. They took the SAT in all three languages. They were A+ students. They were 4.3 students in high school, from grade school all the way through. So not just athletes, they were smart also. Me and my wife tried to cover all bases. And it's not like my kids were born to be football players. They weren't born to be smart. We threw enough knives. We threw more knives than you. You got to throw more knives. That's it.
What do you think gets in the way of most people achieving that you've described?
Disbelief. Today
Disbelief.
you have instant coffee, instant tea, and instant disbelief. They don't believe in their kids. They don't believe in themselves. So how can they believe in their kids? If they didn't think they could be a champion, what makes them think their kid could? This is where the difficult part comes in. That's why I started that podcast, because they need help in that department, as you just asked a question that identifies that. That's why I did the podcast, to give them tools that they can lean on and use to propel them mentally and physically how to help their kids achieve that, because they don't know.
Do you think you can learn to have that belief? Or do you think you're either the person that has that within them naturally or not?
You can learn it. It's easier at a young age. It's like learning a language. Mm-hmm. It's easier to learn it at a young age, opposed to when you're older. But can it be done? Yes. When I was a little boy, my mom never made me make my bed. So we didn't make the bed. I got older in life, and I'm just telling you right now, it was just a decision I made. Today, I'm gonna make my bed. I went to a friend's house, and I don't know why it hit me. I went into his room. It was the dirtiest. The bed was, it was so bad. And I looked at it, I said, damn, am I looking in the mirror? Am I looking in the mirror? And I was like 20-something years old. I was like 27. I said, that's it. For now, I'm making my bed. Made it ever since then. Just a decision I made after seeing that. So yes, you can change. You just got to be willing to make that decision and stick to it. Don't ever give up. Never surrender.
How have you managed to navigate the relationship with your wife as well? Clearly, you put a lot of time into your children. You've got a business, and you're married. Like there's a lot of things going on there.
You got good questions. Yeah, I would say, to some degree, your marriage suffers. My wife was all in too. But we were all in so much on our kids, you kind of forget each other, if that makes sense. So we have to almost restart the engine, start over at this point. Because raising kids, doing what we did, is a second job. No question about it. So to some degree, yes, your marriage will suffer because of you don't pay enough attention to your spouse or your mate because you're all in on the kids. Her and I discovered that later in life, not as I was going through it. Didn't think about it. That's why, see, for an example, good thing you asked that question, because back then I didn't think about that. I was just doing it. And I wouldn't have ever learned until later, until now. So that's why I say it's good to listen to my podcast, because you'll hear things, you'll learn things that you didn't think of, or if you did think of, go, wow, I always wanted to know how to deal with that. There's a lot, there's so much, man. I could talk for hours and hours on just how to get your kids a scholarship. I should think elementary school, middle school, pick the right high school when it happens. No. Coach does not get you a scholarship. Mom and dad got to get them scholarships. Trust me on that. So there's a whole topic about, I haven't even talked about that even on my podcast yet, but there's a whole topic on how to get scholarships. What do you do? It's a lot of information.
Do you have any regrets about anything in your life?
My life, for me personally, I regret in 1984 not buying that condo that the guy, John or Zizan, was trying to sell me. I didn't know. I'm just a guy from Compton, and he wanted $60,000. I had 2 Mercedes, because I would buy Mercedes from Europe because I couldn't get all the money back here because, taxes. So I would buy cars, and then as a way for me to buy a car for X number of dollars and double my money and make money and drive a nice car. He said, sell one of those cars. $60,000 he wanted, that's all. I didn't give it to him because I didn't know if I could even qualify how to buy a house, and I had $40,000 in my shoebox in my house. I didn't do it. I regret that. I didn't know. I took my sons into Charles Schwab 8 years ago. We sat down, we opened up some accounts. The guy looked at my son and said, you know what? If your dad would have put $2,500 in an account when you were born, by the time you hit 60, you would have $1 million. He looked at me, Papa, is that true? I go, yeah. They looked at me again and said, why didn't you do that? Asked me that. That's because I didn't know. Very interesting experience. I go, I didn't know. And now I know, so now you guys are going to do it. So how many people on the planet are in my situation, I ask myself. How many people on the planet could have bought a house, could buy a house right now, but just afraid because their parents never had one and they don't know if they can do it, they're not sure of themselves? How many people on the planet has $2,000 or can scrape up $2,000 and put it in a money market account for their child? A lot of people. Why don't they do it? They don't know. Because when I bought my first house, it's because a guy held my hand and showed me how to do it. A buddy of mine said, John, I want to go on your podcast. He's a finance guy. You're getting a lot of traction. Kids need to know about finance. I said, yeah, man, but Larry, listen, the only problem I have with that is you're going to be talking over people's heads. As soon as you start talking about money market, don't use that goddamn word. You got to talk like this. I got freaking 4 marbles. You have 4 marbles. I take 2. How many marbles you got left? You have to talk like that. I know because I'm the customer. They can put it in the S&P 500. Don't say that word. It scares them. I go, dude, in order to get on my podcast, you got to learn how to talk. You can't talk like that to folks. Compound interest. Oh, Jesus. Larry, what is wrong with you? That's why people are not in the market, because they're guys like you. If he comes on my podcast, I'm going to have to really translate everything he's saying, because to me, instead of saying compound interest, I would say, look, you get a freaking snowball, put it on the hill, let that shit roll down, and it gets bigger and bigger. You guys understand that? They go, yeah, okay, good. That's what it is. You understand? So, and most of the people that don't do it because they're lazy, probably have a dirty house, told they were no good for nothing. But that's a good quality to have. Because the lazy guy won't look at his account and see that it went up in money and take the money out. A lazy guy is going to forget that he opened that account. A lazy guy, so it's good to be lazy to some degree, as far as I'm concerned. Shit, if you're lazy, this is a good thing for you. Jump in there. You know, so if you're lazy, your house is dirty, and you ain't no good for nothing, this is a good business for you. Because those are the qualities you need. Sometimes the market drops and you get scared, you take your money out. These are good qualities, lazy, dirty, no good for nothing guys. I love those guys. So I was telling my son that graduated from Stanford, you should start a business and invest in people's money like that, because that market is huge. And they don't do it because no one holds their hand. That's all it is. If you hold their hand, they'll give you the money. So my son's considering doing something like that.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I would say, here's John Brown, guy who stood for something. Guy who, man, me and my friend Steve Griffin, Sean Ray, we laughed our asses off through life. We had so much fun, you know, just to be known for having fun, having a good time, being honest. And again, someone who did his best to take care of his family. You know what I mean? I know I won Mr. Universe, I did this and that, but I'm just my mother's and my father's son. And I always tell my sons, hey, look, I don't care about them 5 stars, that title, all that stuff, that don't mean nothing to me. You are my son and your mother's son. That's all you are. Don't ever forget sight of that. Don't think you something else. That's who you are.
Well, my final question, John, is Escape Your Limits is about escaping what you've believed is impossible and gone on to make it possible. Mm-hmm. What would be your most memorable example of escaping your own personal limits?
Only thing that comes to mind would be, it's going to sound really silly. I was able, there's 3 things I always wanted in life. Electric garage door, a flat screen TV, and a Rolex watch. I didn't want nothing else. The fact that I was able to get those things, those are things that, you know, you're like, will I really be able to get a flat screen TV one day? Or a Rolex watch and an electric garage door? I did it, and I tell you, I'm most proud that I was able to escape the fear of that never happening, because you never know. It sounds simple, but those are the 3 things that always stuck in my mind. I always wanted, and I didn't know if I could ever get them, but I got them.
And you still, and your door still goes up and down when you pull up. Yeah.
Because I don't know about in England, but in California, where I lived, there was no electric doors. We had to push some doors up.
Right, yeah.
And let my dad, come on in. Oh, I hated it. I hated it. So I always wanted that. And so I didn't know if my life would allow me to achieve that. You know, because I've seen guys getting killed. I've been shot at. I had guns pulled on me at gunpoint at my temple, shotguns from here to there, aimed at my stomach. I didn't know if I was going to make it from the neighborhood I grew up in. So to escape that, oh, man. When I hear of terrorists, like 9/11, I was getting terrorized in my neighborhood. Those gangbangers, they're terrorists. They're homegrown terrorists is what they are. So to escape that, I never thought, I said, I got to get out of here. I didn't know if I would make it alive. And I made it out. So most grateful and glad that I got out of there too. I didn't think I would. Not alive. Yeah.
John, thank you so much for your time today.